Hello and welcome to another video. Today we are going to do something very different. It's a new challenge for me. I'm going to try and attempt to create something very realistic using Crayola markers. And so I'm going to try and use Crayola markers only. That'll be my limitation. Crayola markers, it's good to put limitations on yourself sometimes. It challenges you. As you can see, I bought this from Dollarama for $3. I am using very good quality marker paper. It's a smooth, bleed-proof paper made specifically for ink and pens and things like that. And it's a beautiful, very smooth paper. It's made by Borden and Riley, the paper experts since 1910. I also have watercolor paintbrushes. I have the Rubloff. It's a Russian watercolor. I just got these and never even opened it. And this one is made by Art Master round series, the 2100 series. There's two different sizes of paintbrushes, one for very thin lines, one for thicker lines, and washes. I have a pencil and my eraser, water, and a porcelain watercolor palette. So yeah, that's all I'm limited to. Paintbrushes, a pencil, eraser, a porcelain palette, water, marker paper, and your good old Crayola markers, and I only have 10. So here goes nothing. Okay, so now I've swatched out the colors that I can pretty much achieve with the Crayolas. Now, with water added, it mutes the color a lot, and I just applied the marker to my porcelain palette and just added a bit of water to it, taking my paintbrush and swatching it onto this marker paper. I can see that the paper is actually starting to curl, so adding water to the marker, yeah, it makes it a lot like almost like a cheap watercolor. So that it really fades out the saturation. Now this is the marker straight onto the paper, like I just took it, and that's at its most saturated. So I can achieve pretty much values between these two sides. So that's what I would suggest that you do if you wanted to attempt this challenge, is to pick the paper that you want to use and just swatch out, what you can achieve with the colors that you have. Everyone's results might be slightly different than mine, depending on what paper you use and the type of water you have and the technique that you're using. So yeah, let's see what we can do here. Right, I've laid down a very, very light sketch of the fruits that I'm going to attempt to render now with these Crayola markers. All right, this is about 10 minutes of work, and I'm noticing that the Crayola markers behave very much like watercolors. So it's an additive sort of media, and you have to, like watercolor, you have to leave the white areas white in order to achieve a stark white color. So it's a lot harder to blend than actual watercolors, because this is not watercolor, but it seems to be behaving the same way as watercolor most of the time. To achieve the more saturated areas, I found that just taking the nib of the marker, I would just place my paintbrush right onto the nib of the marker, and then take the marker right off of the nib to achieve a more richer color, and then I was able to blend it better. But yes, but unlike regular watercolor, it seems to dry with a lot more separation. So it doesn't blend as well. This could be because I'm using marker paper. In fact, that's probably why it is like that, because this is marker paper. It's not watercolor paper. I think I should have used watercolor paper. Well, we'll see what happens. So this is where I am right now with the painting drawing, and yeah, I'm just gonna keep working away at it and layering the colors. It's very meticulous. It's not like, it's like working with really cheap watercolors, to be honest. But yeah, I'm gonna get this done because I think it'll be very interesting. Oh, I apologize for the lighting. So this is where it is now. It is late at night and I have my lights on, and it's so you can't really see it very well, but I will film again tomorrow morning when the light is much better. And I realize now that I'm going to need gouache to really make it stand out properly, to make it really pop like a realistic picture. And I just wanted to show you how much the gouache will transform this drawing. Right now it looks just okay, but once you put the gouache in, that's when it starts looking really much better. So there we go. This is the finished, completed Crayola marker drawing. And yes, I do believe the gouache. This is the gouache that I used. M. Graham Titanium White Artist Gouache. I love this gouache. It's so creamy and it can be as opaque as you want it, and you can actually use it. It can be very transparent as well if you'd like. So you just build it up to make it more and more opaque, or you can just use it more transparent. It's great. It gives you great control over how much transparency you want, and it really makes the glossy parts of the berries really stand out. And so all I did was put this gouache in my tray here and used my little paintbrush, a very tiny detailed paintbrush. This is the paintbrush that I used, the number 1 Kolinsky here, very narrow and fine. That's the one I used. And I went in and detailed all of the berries with a highlight. And if you notice with highlights themselves are not pure white. There are highlights that'll be slightly gray, and the highlights will all be different shapes. They won't be exactly the same. They won't all be perfect circles. I mean, that's the secret to getting realism. So there you have it. I hope that this video was helpful, and I hope that you can maybe this challenge will be appealing to you. You don't need expensive artists' supplies. You can do art with anything, and this is proof. Thank you. Please like and subscribe for more videos like this.